so on this channel we like to talk about the obscure and odd things that one might miss. And what better place to find those than on the streets? Usually when it comes to things on the streets, we don't usually notice them because, well, we have places to be and things to do. But there are a lot of small things on endless streets, both historical and modern, that might surprise you. Let's start off with these things you might find at the doorsteps of the new town. Can you guess what they are? Well, what if I told you that they were to scrape horse shit off your boots? So, as you might know, before the invention of the diesel and petrol engines, most road transport was horse-drawn. Even with the development of cable and electric trams and the widespread adoption of bicycles, if you wanted to get large amounts of things from point A to point B, you needed a horse. And what do horses do? Well, they shit everywhere.
Oh my god. He shit everywhere.
Horses generally don't care where they poop, and they will poop where they are standing, resulting in lots of horse dung everywhere. This became a health problem because having the streets coated in horse manure to the point that in 1894 the Times of London declared that in 50 years every street in London we buried under 9 feet of manure was, suffice to say, a bit of a problem. Luckily by 1944 the motor car had largely replaced the horse, so the problem of manure was replaced by the problem of air pollution and traffic. Anyway, think of these next time you step in dog shite. Also of relevance to the street is something a little bit more modern. You may notice that at road crossings, platforms and pavements in general, there are these little bumps at crossings, long ovals at tram and train platforms, and raised stripes on pavements. What are these for? Well, they are for the visually impaired. Let me explain. You have likely seen these. These are canes for the blind, and they're primarily used to help the blind detect what's ahead of him on the pavement. These aren't merely for getting around. They also tell the cane user where there's a crossing, where there's a platform, and where there is a cycle path, and in some cases which direction to go. This is called tactile paving. Like a lot of clever ideas like this was invented in Japan by Seiichi Miyake, and in Japan they are quite ubiquitous, and even help guide the blind along paths. However, in the UK you might see little features like this, a little guiding block which points the visually impaired person in the right direction. So here's something that you really don't think about unless it's broken. Street lamps. The last time I got excited about street lamps was when they replaced the ones on my street with those LED ones, which are so much brighter than the orange ones and genuinely made me feel safer. A lot of people babble on about aesthetics and ask, why can't we make simple things like street lamps pretty like Victorian days, and get all huffy because the new Glasgow subway trains look too modern, or how the new buses have too many curves or some dumb nonsense like that. Well, there are some places where you can see some pretty looking old street lamps. But first we need to talk about why they were designed that way in the first place. Basically, when the first street lamps were developed, they were obviously not electric, but gas. Gas was delivered through a series of pipes, and those lamps needed to be lit manually. They were also not too efficient because they only lit a few feet from their base, which was obviously something that influenced their design. One thing you notice about old lampposts is that its windows are very large compared to its size, and for a lamppost, this is quite an obvious design feature. But you must bear in mind that these were designed to emit as much light as they possibly could. It's why a lot of lampposts had this bulb design. Today, there are a surprising number of these old style lampposts dotted throughout the city. One of the most obvious ones is one next to Greyfriars Bobby, which is very obviously outshone by its canine counterpart, pun very much intended. Another place you can find some is on St Bernard's Bridge at Stockbridge. So yeah, next time you're out and about, have a look out for these very interesting little streetures.